Welcome everybody to episode 4 of FTW Extras. It's a little bit of extra content that we put out there every once in a while. And today's extras content is going to be more of a Ask FTW show. So every week we get some questions that we just don't have time for in the main conversation, or they don't fit into the time frame that we're talking, fantasy booking or stuff like that. So we're going to bring that in now. With me, my name is Garvin. With me today is Joe. Say hello, Joe.
Hello, Joe.
And Nick. Say hello, Nick.
I'm waving for all you guys watching.
All right, so if you want to take part in this conversation, you can send in questions to questions@ftwpodcast.com. You can message us on Facebook, tweet us, leave us a review on Stitcher and iTunes, or even leave a voicemail at 313-444-FTW4. That's 313-444-3894. We definitely want to hear from you guys, so let's just get right into the questions. The first one is from Michael Kupak in the Facebook group. He said, always is. He says, so looking at the current WWE roster minus part-timers like Sting, Triple H, Taker, and Lesnar, what fresh matchups would you guys like to see after WrestleMania?
I'd be very interested in a Cesaro versus Cena storyline. Cena is sitting right there at the U.S. title level, and I'm assuming the Brass Ring Club won't stick together forever, as much as I'd like them to. So yeah, Super Cena versus the Swiss Superman, that'd be pretty awesome. Additionally, Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan, those two would put on an excellent program. Basically, I just want to see a lot more Cesaro.
I don't know, I'm looking at it, I would love to see Cesaro versus Barrett for a while. Cesaro versus Rusev, Barrett versus Rusev. Not guessing, I'm pretty high on both guys. Another thing I would like to see, Zack Ryder versus Adam Rose. I know that sounds absurd, but since they've had the growing feud going on Twitter.
And Superstars.
I want to see it. I want to see them I want to see that elevated quite a bit. Pay-per-view match. Give them a cage.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
I just want to see something fresh. I know these guys aren't like the superstars like Cena or the Cesaro or the Rusev or, anybody huge, or Orton. But I want to see, to me, that's more interesting because it's guys you don't normally get to see. It's guys who really need to help break out of the box, and something like that will help them. Just like Tyson Kidd being teamed up with Cesaro in the tag team division. That's brilliant. That's fantastic because then we get to finally see what Tyson Kidd can really do more frequently on a bigger stage. I mean, we knew he could work, but that's, I want to see some of the guys that they're just not using. I want to see them elevated into more picture.
Yeah, and I keep thinking that Adam Rose is going to be just dropped. Like, they're gonna do something else with him. They're gonna send him back to NXT or something like that. But then we keep seeing him on TV. And then when we do see them on TV, it's more of like that bit part, but that bit part does help other stories being told, like when Paige lost her clothes against the Bellas. It was dumb, but I mean you can still use them for that capacity.
Yeah, and I was still waiting for King to go, puppies!
Yeah, and then but also I don't know if you guys noticed this, but on WWE.com they now have a profile page for the Rosebuds. So they actually interview individual Rosebuds. So those characters, I imagine, are going to be here to stay for a little while longer at least.
Taylor Hendricks and Mandy Leone on WWE TV. Yes, please.
So,
but they don't have an entry in the Superstars page, the Bunny.
No, which is a shame. Like, where did the Bunny go? Like, that's the matchup that I would like. Did he?
He quit. Yeah.
Yeah, Justin Gabriel quit.
Yep.
Well, you're suggesting that Justin Gabriel was the Bunny, and I think that was
revealed.
I think that was just coincidental.
No, he flat out said it. I know, we're breaking kayfabe.
So, I do like the idea of Cesaro versus Cena. I think with Cena in the U.S. Championship, level, that does open up a lot of, opportunities for guys like Cesaro, for even Tyson Kidd. I do like who is in the Intercontinental Championship race. I haven't necessarily liked how they've been handling it, but just the fact that we've got all of these good names in that title race, like Barrett and Ambrose, Ziggler, Luke Harper, Daniel Bryan in this race, I think I'm okay with if they're not just, filling him in so that he's got a spot in WrestleMania, but he's got no future in that division. Is it just my dogs that are shaking?
Yep.
Okay, because I thought it was yours, but then I just realized it was mine. Sorry. So anyways, yeah, I do like who is in the Intercontinental Championship race. I would really like to see all 6 of them continue to fight for that spot. So
7.
Well, 7 because one of them holds the title. But I mean, like, if you get rid of Stardust, I don't necessarily think I want Stardust in this race. I don't want R-Truth in this race. But the other 4 going against Barrett or whoever is holding the title at the time, I think that's a good title race that you should continue pushing. This idea that we keep getting, one guy going after the champion and that's all you get, that does hurt the overall credibility of that division. All right, let's go to the next question. Actually, what about the World Championship race? Who would you want to see propelled up? There are the ideas of Reigns taking the win. So do you get Rollins and Reigns, or if Brock Lesnar continues, who do you throw up next in that division?
I think we would have to get Rollins versus Reigns for an extended period of time because that particular fallout from the Shield hasn't really happened yet. As far as who else you could bump up there,
see, I think Ambrose is a great.
Yeah, that's
not just to counterpoint the other part of the Shield, but I mean, I think the character would work well in that picture. It'd give it a little more room to expand. Going forward, something that I think would be a little crazy would be 2 entries. One, Curtis Axel. Really push the Axelmania thing. Although, he did go over the top rope, so he is now officially eliminated from the Royal Rumble. But at least it's right before the armbar. And, do a storyline where maybe Miz gets in the world title picture and whatever slot he's got, Mizdow challenges for it and he gets moved into the spot. The crowd's behind Mizdow.
Yeah, but that far up on the card though?
I don't know. I just feel that WWE really needs to shake some things up because we're going to see the same guys near the top.
Sure.
We might have one guy like Rollins who gets kind of pushed in there, to kind of crack that glass ceiling, but you still have all the same big dogs up there. I want to see, more guys pushed up there. Make it believable that anybody could win the championship. I don't think we have enough of that in today's era.
No, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Curtis Axel, no. I do want to see something happen with Axel, but it's just one of those things where, there's what do you do with him? Like, how can you give him enough time to get over? It's definitely not in the role that he's in right now because that's more of a comedic role. He's just taking up where Mizdow when he was the assistant, or no, the stunt double. He's taking up that time, basically. So I don't know, I don't know where you could put Axel to really help him get over, but a feud in the U.S. Championship race against John Cena, I think would be good for him. Even if he doesn't win, I think just showing that he can hang with one of the top guys, I think is worth seeing.
Yeah, pick up that angle where he was beating Cena and Triple H multiple times. He was looking pretty good at the very, very start of that Heyman guy role.
Yeah, but we've come to find out that being a Heyman guy only works if you're like Punk or Lesnar. You have to be an uppercard guy or else it'll fall flat.
Well,
because Heyman doesn't have the time for you. That's how it comes across to me as I'm watching.
Yeah, no, as far as how they told the story, you're right. That is how it came across. It came across as if, that he was there representing Brock Lesnar at all times or CM Punk at all times, and you just happened to be joining that. But anytime he was out there with Cesaro, he wasn't talking about how awesome Cesaro was. He was talking about how awesome Brock Lesnar was. It was about the streak being broken, not the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So yeah, I don't know. If they can break Heyman from doing that, and maybe this is the time to do it. Like if you retain Heyman after WrestleMania, and say for instance Brock Lesnar loses and then is off TV for a while, you've got a big opportunity right there to put Heyman on someone else that would really help.
For the record, I'm not advocating that Axel get back with Heyman.
Sure.
I'm just saying he looked good in that role, so it's obvious he can hang with these guys.
Oh, agreed.
Well, what about the possibility? I mean, this is an offshoot of the topic here, since we're talking about Heyman. If Lesnar does not complete his contract, but Heyman's still under contract, do we still end up having Paul Heyman talking about Brock Lesnar because he's still the advocate? I mean, it's been known they've had ever since they had their first pairing up in WWE, he's always been a Lesnar guy in the UFC, and, he's always been a representative for the man.
Okay.
So, I mean, do we still hear, I'm the advocate and representative of the 1 and 21 and 1?
I think you would have to. I think you would have to stop that relationship, at least for the time being. So if Heyman's going to stay on, but Brock Lesnar doesn't re-sign, I think that's a limited window, as far as time frame, that if Brock Lesnar doesn't re-sign by the time, they have the WrestleMania match, then they're going to make a decision to write Brock Lesnar off of TV. And if that's the case, if Heyman's going to stay, they're going to move Heyman probably to like a Roman Reigns and have that part of the story.
I could actually see him, if Lesnar leaves, I could see Heyman using just Lesnar's name as kind of like a bludgeon to keep the Authority at bay. Maybe to get him some kind of authority role. Not a role within the Authority, but as an authority figure.
So, like, that Heyman could bring Brock Lesnar back at any point.
Yeah, like, if you lay hands on me, if you discipline me in any way you see fit, I can bring him back and he will wreak havoc.
But, I mean, the only argument that I have against that, as far as storyline wise, is that if Brock doesn't re-sign and is off of, is removed from TV, they're gonna do it in a way that makes Roman Reigns look strong, right?
Well, yeah, that's the WWE's pattern, is to make Roman Reigns look really, really strong.
So if Brock Lesnar is gone and Paul Heyman is using Brock Lesnar as that piece, then they could easily just go after Roman Reigns and try to get Roman Reigns into the Authority to fight Lesnar again, because Roman Reigns can beat him.
Sure. I think there are ways to keep Reigns looking strong and still have Lesnar be a legitimate threat. Like, even if Reigns beats Lesnar clean, you could say Lesnar just walked off because, well, it's not worth his time to keep this going.
Well, I mean, my entire thing is, are we going to still hear about 21 and 1 being the advocate for a short time after Lesnar's departure, so that it could help possibly then have Heyman back somebody else and bring them up on a rise to slowly phase it out, so we don't lose Heyman on TV? Because it's just hard to have Heyman on TV and drop the Brock Lesnar thing. That was my thing.
So so as he's floating around, like in between clients, like him trying to sell himself,
or he's selling himself, or maybe he does get a new client, but like he did with Curtis Axel, he's still touting the Cesaro,
saying I am the one behind the 1 and
21 and 1, and this will be the new 1 or something like that. This will be the guy.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
This is Adam Rose.
Yeah. In that capacity, I do see it. I do see him touting that, because that is a credibility level that you have to, put out there. I mean, we know it. We know how good Paul Heyman has done. We know who he has represented and how well they've done, but Paul Heyman shoves that down your throat.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the next topic. This comes from Chewy. Now, Chewy predicted that, and I guess we've already started to talk a little bit about this, but Chewy predicted that Lesnar would stay in WWE after WrestleMania, because why else would Heyman bring up UFC in his promos over the last few weeks? However, he also has predicted that either Reigns wins or Rollins cashes in. But his question, what he's asking is, assuming that he's correct in Lesnar's future and Lesnar stays in WWE, and assuming he's brought on in a similar fashion with a small number of dates available, what do you do with him? Do you write him to go away and stay in the title picture heading into SummerSlam, or how do you handle a Brock Lesnar if he has the same contract that he has had the last couple of years?
This one, if Lesnar completely stays on, and we're not getting just a leftover date because he walked out that one time. If he wins at WrestleMania, I definitely see a cash in on Monday night, and he gets obliterated. Rollins wins, but to what extent? Maybe there's like 12 guys who just beat the crap out of Lesnar, and then Rollins gets the win. You give him enough injuries, and then he could be out till SummerSlam or whenever you want to use him. To me, that would make the most sense if he's got limited dates. That way you can say, yeah, he's injured. He's severely injured and he needs time to recover. But when he comes back, he's going to wreck face.
Yeah, that's probably the most likely outcome I could think of as well. either way this match unfolds, whether Lesnar wins or he loses, I don't see him coming back in a more frequent form. In fact, I've been hearing a lot of rumors that they've agreed to a similar deal. And of course, those being rumors, take that for what you will. But yeah, I would imagine that either way, he's going to be sticking around, and we probably wouldn't see him again until maybe a SummerSlam.
Yeah, to me, that schedule sounds about right. I'm okay with the idea of, if he does come back and he does win or lose, I think we're not seeing him on TV past the Monday night after WrestleMania. I think they could easily keep him off TV until SummerSlam. That's, in the grand scheme of things, you look at whatever that is, the 3 or 4 months, and it does seem like a long time, but, in how everything has flowed from year to year, it seems to just fly by. So, yeah, and I don't think you really need Brock Lesnar on TV. I think this experiment has gone really well in how it's made every single Brock Lesnar match and Brock Lesnar appearance with the WWE Championship. It's made each one feel really important. So, yeah, I don't know. I do like the idea of him losing to a cash-in though, or Reigns winning and the fans like booing, and then having Rollins cash in to get that pop.
I don't know. I could see Reigns winning the championship. Maybe there's even a rematch on Monday night, and Rollins cashes in then, like afterwards. Like Lesnar could win it back, have the crowd pop for that, then Rollins cashes in.
Ooh. Two nights in a row, 2 matches in a row for Brock Lesnar?
No, Reigns wins, is what I said. Mania. Oh. Yeah, you'll get the fan boost, but at least you get the face win. And then Lesnar gets it back, so all the marks can be happy. Like, yeah, screw you, Reigns, and then Rollins wins, and then you can see Lesnar off TV at that point.
But you're saying Brock Lesnar shows up on Monday Night Raw for a rematch?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, right. We're on the same page there. So, but still, that's 2 matches in a row for Brock Lesnar. That's unprecedented.
At least in this day and age.
Yeah, and that would mark the 3rd time Rollins would take out Lesnar with the curb stomp. So, if and or when Lesnar does come back, that would almost certainly mark the Authority as his next target, which I think could be really interesting.
It would also mark the 3rd time in a row that many people would think the night after WrestleMania, the Raw after WrestleMania, was better than WrestleMania.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but they can fill it with all kinds of crap like WrestleMania rematches to help lower the quality, since they do that a lot.
Sure. All right, Beanbags on the Facebook group wants to know if someone were to hold the WWE World Heavyweight Championships for 2 to 3 years, would Brock Lesnar be the guy to do it? So 2 to 3 years in a row. We saw CM Punk hold it for a little over a year. But what about the idea of someone holding it for 2 to 3 years? Do you like that idea, and do you think Brock Lesnar would be that guy?
Triple H, John Cena. No, haven't they done it in the past? I mean, what's the longest reign before that? Before Punk? Like in modern times, not.
Well,
samurai.
No, the Punk had the longest reign in modern time. In the last
I know. After that
years.
is what I'm saying. Like, who's second?
Not sure. Let's look that up.
Or I guess what could we figure out what percentage of a year has Cena held the title, or Triple H held the title when he was still active, when they were getting all their reigns? Because, if they only missed it for a month, I mean, I know it's a separate reign, but if you go 6 months, lose it for maybe even a week and regain it on Raw, and then continue the rest of the year, that's practically an entire reign, I don't know. With so many championship wins from Cena, and so many championship wins from Triple H, it's not outlandish to think some guy would be holding the title for that long. I mean, we've always had the little burps in between. To negate those little burps.
So you're looking for as far as
I'm looking at data
days,
that we're probably not going to be able to pull up really quickly.
Well, no, because we can look at the combined days of how long people have held the title. John Cena.
Well, I'm looking right now. Cena is the next longest at 380. Coming up next, Cena with a 280-day reign. JBL with a 280-day reign, and then you get into the low 200s with Triple H and Orton.
Okay,
Is that it for 160?
Over.
But as far as percentages go, no, I don't think there's any way to really do that easily. I'm sure it could be done. But
I don't know. If I were going to pick someone to hold the title for that long, Lesnar is a good person to pick. Only because of the type of contract he has, and to make the impact that he does, he doesn't need to show up all the time.
Sure.
See, that contract would be why I don't think Lesnar would be a good person at all. Not for 2 or 3 years. Because Lesnar signs year-long deals. And, of course, you've always got the rumors that he wants to go back to UFC, or he could just not want to have anything to do with WWE for a little while. I think you'd have to get a full-timer in order to go that long.
Put it on Shane O'Mac.
I don't
only
agree with
defend
that.
at Mania. Put it on Taker and have him only defend at Mania.
I mean, at least Taker would come back to WWE. At least we could count on that.
I don't know. I mean, as far as a full-timer, as in someone who's not going to jump ship and go somewhere else, or as a full-timer, someone who is on TV every day?
See, I think if someone was on TV every day, it would be very, very stale at that point. Like, just come on, defend the title. Like, when Punk did it, it did eventually get stale. I mean, people were like, just drop the title, because he was around and all he did was taunt it. You know, he did win the matches, don't get me wrong, but it was like, people wanted more out of it, where I don't think
people wanted more out of Punk. People wanted more out of Punk because he wasn't the spotlight.
Yeah, that's true as well.
But still, I mean, there was a lot of clamoring for him to drop the title.
Yeah.
I think Punk was in the sweet spot where, because he wasn't in the picture, they weren't necessarily going to have the title change hands as much. Like that, to me, if you're going to have somebody hold the title for that long, that's almost the perfect way to do it. Yeah, does it hurt the credibility of the title? To an extent it does. Because it's not it's not the big thing. But it helped that get over, that he held the title that long because people had other stuff to focus on.
I don't know. I mean, with the Punk situation, I think we would have all been happy with Punk's reign if he was in the main events and if the spotlight was on him, but it never seemed to be really focused on him. He was always on the match before the main event or halfway through the card or whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, like the idea that you need a full timer to be the one who handles, the 2 to 3 years, I don't see that. I think it would work better if it is a Brock Lesnar type. But with Brock Lesnar, like you said, Nick, there's no guarantee that he's going to even be there long enough to fulfill that because he's only signing 1-year contracts, because there's always that chance that he'll go and do something else. He'll not resign. So you need like that middle person where they are definitely a company person, but are willing to not be on TV, or that they're not needed to be on TV each and every week.
Yeah, they need to have enough of a fan following in order to maintain their presence, even though they're not actually present on every show. And like you said, Garvin, you need somebody that both can and will stick around for the next 2 or 3 years in order to make this work. Like Lesnar can, but we don't know if he will. I don't know who that would leave. A guy like Cena, he might be around for the next 2 or 3 years. I imagine he will be. I don't think any of us want to see that, but I don't know, maybe Daniel Bryan. If we could get into a little fantasy booking and say Cesaro, I don't know if we'd want to put Reigns in that situation after the growth we've seen out of him.
That's a little tough with Reigns, but he has been growing at least. Mm-hmm. I think we've all recognized that fact in the past month. We've seen him grow leaps and bounds. But you're right. I don't think he's necessarily the guy at this time to be able to do it.
Yeah, maybe Ambrose or Rollins.
This is going to sound maybe slightly off, but what about Ryback?
I'm not opposed to it.
Maybe.
I mean, Ryback has been proven to be he's a strong guy. He's a high impact guy. So he's got that brutal streak in him. We just haven't really seen him. He hasn't been given the go yet.
Right.
The closest we got was him for Punk, and that's when we got the Shield.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is a lot of potential there.
Yeah, that's very true.
You kind of get that Lesnar feel without the Lesnar.
I agree with that thought process. I guess my issue with Ryback right now is they're not giving him enough TV time. So while this would definitely give him, a level of credibility that who knows if he deserves it, but he definitely should be in contention for it. I don't know if this would help Ryback at all in the short term, at least.
Yeah. And if Ryback was that guy, I think I would be a lot more comfortable if he had a Heyman. Not necessarily if he had Heyman, because that didn't really work out the last time around, but if he had a manager of some sort.
All right, so just to put some numbers into context. I didn't go the route of percentages, Joe, but I did look at combined reigns.
Okay.
And as far as active guys, John Cena has, and this is only for the one title, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, which is the WWE Championship. They keep saying that he's like 16 times. I think that's just the world.
I think that's
It's
world
combining both
championship.
world titles.
Is it combining?
Yeah,
well,
combining both.
okay, I'm only looking at the one title, and that is only counting 12 total reigns. And those reigns, 1,200 combined days. And that was over a 10-year period.
Okay.
But just a general idea, that was about 3 years of time. So John Cena, as far as active competitors, is the only one who has held the title for something along those lines, as far as three years. So, and that was over a 10-year period. So if we're sick of, and maybe it's just John Cena.
You said how long? How many days?
1,240.
1,240. So it's a little over 3 years.
So Hogan, just to put it in perspective.
Yeah.
Hogan had just under 1,500. He had 1,474. And that
combined?
I think that's only one reign. That's only one reign.
Oh, right.
That's from Sheik to Andre.
Yeah. Yeah. Hogan held the title 6 times, combined days of, 2,185, which I think is about like 5 years of time.
Isn't that disgustingly sick?
That's a little under 7. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, actually it is almost 6. It's 5.9. But yeah, crazy.
Don't
Crazy
forget
long
about leap
time.
years.
That's true. Leap years.
But yeah, no, I mean, just an incredibly sick amount of time. So yeah, it's hard now looking at the guys we're looking at for that. To hold it for 2 to 3 years. You're thinking straight. How sick were we of Hogan? How sick have we been for like Triple H? I'd never want to see a guy hold it down.
Yeah, outside of Bret Hart, this is like a who's who of who we don't want to see anymore.
I'm
going to put Bret Hart in that column.
Well, yeah, like now. I don't think anybody wants to see Bret Hart now, but
I don't know if I can agree with that. Just because like Hulk Hogan, was I tired of Hulk Hogan being champion? No, but I was like under 12. I was still into Hulk Hogan at that time.
oh, sure, like when he was in his heyday, yeah, but like now.
Oh.
I don't think anybody wants to see Hogan now.
Well, that's because Hogan never dropped the character.
Yeah.
He did.
I don't think Hogan can drop the character anymore.
No, he is the character.
Yeah.
But like Bob Backlund, that's a guy I wish was on TV more.
Yeah, he has been pretty entertaining, those little cameos he makes.
All right, cool. Well, next question. And I'm going to mispronounce it. Actually, Nick, go ahead, pronounce this.
I'm making a guess on this pronunciation, so, Ateen Sharma on Google+. Please feel free to correct us if that is not correct.
Okay, and the question is, when Undertaker values his earned so much, how does it keep ending with his opponents?
Ending up with his declare.
Ending up with his opponents, not, yes, okay.
Because it doesn't end.
I'm guessing that Taker has been relying too much on his authority as the judge of Wrestlers Court, and since he's no longer around to maintain that authority, the people he left the urn with, don't value his property quite as much as they used to.
$20 will get any of the, orderlies at the nursing home to grab it for you. Okay, that's cruel. But, yeah, like, I just imagine there's like this pedestal and Taker standing by it, it's got the urn on it. He's sitting there looking around, just like slowly falling asleep like a minimum wage security guard. Like, it's my urn. No one can have it. It's all center all my power. And like he turns like to get a drink from the drinking fountain like 5 feet away or eat a bite of sandwich from the table that's a few steps away. And that's when someone just comes up and, Hornswoggle grabs it and hands it over to somebody and they twist their little wax mustache and they run off with it.
Simon Gotch then, you mean?
What's that?
Simon Gotch then, you mean?
Yeah. I don't want to, it's just, how do they get it? He obviously doesn't give a shit about it until it's taken. Like, you think that if this is the center of all your power, you'd keep it somewhere more safe.
Michelle McTaker is not the good wife we thought she was.
It's Juliana Margulies.
I think this would make a lot more sense if Undertaker was on TV more often and we actually saw the people taking the urn.
The one thing I would have rather had them do is not use the urn anymore now that Paul Bearer is gone.
Yeah. Yeah, having Bray use the urn. I mean, even discounting Paul Bearer being gone, Punk already did and it hasn't been that long. So I don't know. It just feels cheap to me.
It doesn't feel cheap to me, but it doesn't have the impact to me.
Yeah, I guess that's more accurate.
It's just kind of, it just happens to be a prop, and it seems to be partially removed from the character outside of Undertaker, Dead Man, so Earn.
Sure.
Because we didn't get the beaming light out of it anymore. We only get smoke.
Well, just looking.
Granted, that light is now in Bray's lantern.
Yeah. Just looking at the story though, like how else would Bray get Undertaker's attention?
Doing everything he had been doing, you know.
Just assuming that Undertaker sits at home, like in the Botch Spot comic, and watches Raw.
Exactly.
Why not?
Are you sure he doesn't do that? I wouldn't be surprised if that's what he did.
Mm-hmm.
Honey, remember when I was in the match with John Cena? Oh, remember that? Yes, dear. I heard it before. Do you remember the time that me and Layla... Shut up! No, we're talking about me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm with you guys. The Earn being the only way to communicate with the Undertaker in some capacity, or only to get on his, like, to play mind games with him. It is a little old, but so is Undertaker, so is the gimmick. And I don't know. For me, like, you can't do any wrong with the Undertaker, so I'm okay with it.
Garvin, you mentioned that we need to see people actually stealing the Urn.
I think it would help.
Well, am I the only one imagining a scenario where Rockstar Spud goes into AJ Styles' house to steal the title belt? Does anybody else remember that?
I do remember that, and that was pretty funny. But I picture it more like the Attitude Era 24/7 rules with the Hardcore Championship.
Yeah, right.
Like when Triple H invaded Orton's house?
That could be too. But that was just a little more, like, in your face. Like, there were so many, like, someone sneaks up on Crash Holly at the airport and gets a quick pin, because, you know, everyone travels with a referee, and just runs off with the title. You know, someone just comes up to the Undertaker, and, you know, he just happens to be walking, you know, getting froyo, Urn under his arm. Someone just yoinks it and just runs.
But
I would love to see the Undertaker getting frozen yogurt.
Yeah, he's just in the grocery store.
Or at, you know, at the local place, you know, can I get some strawberries on that? No, we're all out. Oh, the eyes roll back in his head. Okay, I think we have some in the bag. And then someone steals the urn. And he goes to chase him, but then he realizes he doesn't have a spoon, so he's got to go back, grab a spoon, put a tip in the jar, and then take off after him.
I'm imagining all this to the yakety sax.
Oh, of course.
But if they did it in the arena, then R-Truth could be involved in something else.
If they did it in the arena, you'd have to have concessions game.
Damn it, why have you been around? This is where I've been relegated to. Selling concessions. Fuck, Mark.
All right, and that's it for this episode. Thanks, everyone, for listening. If this is your first time, definitely check out fanstalkwrestling.com for the full archive, as well as all of our other listening options and the other podcasts that we do. You can leave a rating and review if you listen to a service that allows it, and spread the word. The wrestling podcast business is too competitive. Thanks to jerks like Jericho and Stone Cold, now everyone thinks that they can sit down in front of their computer and record a podcast. Don't let us get lost in the mix. Push us up to the top right where we belong. See you guys later.